It's Jarvis Leatherby here from the heavy metal band Night Demon, and you're watching CMS TV.
Hail and kill, caller. You're on the air.
Hail and kill. Couple of things. There's no way, there's absolutely no way. Yes, Wasp might be using some track, but there's no way Blackie Lawless is lip-syncing that whole gig. There's no way that's happening.
There's no way that what?
That Blackie's lip-syncing the whole gig.
Well, I saw it.
No way.
I saw it, Tim. I was up close. I was like 10 rows back. It was very, very clear that he was lip syncing probably 60% of the time.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, look, you were there. I wasn't.
I was very close, and I got it on video, and I think we actually played some of the video here, and we were kind of stopping it to where you could hear the track kick in, and Blackie's mouth wasn't even near the microphone.
Yeah. Well, I know that I saw Motley Crue in November, and I was so close, and there was no way Vince Neil was lip-syncing that whole gig. But the other thing you were talking about the Frontiers thing, Slayer is a big band, but I'm not sure that they're anywhere. They're probably... Would Striper be as big as Slayer would be now?
Stop. Striper would be 10 times smaller than Slayer.
Because the reason I'm mentioning that is I know that Michael Sweet has talked about the fact that Frontiers would probably give them about $20,000 an album.
That's not very much, Tim. That's about standard.
Yeah.
20 grand. I know for a fact that's what Dokken gets is about 20 grand, and that's just to cover expenses to make the record. And once the label gets the record, that's it. They never give them back shit. Nothing. Royalties. Nothing.
Yeah. Anyway, just thought I'd throw in with that. Obviously you saw Wasp, but I didn't. Because Wasp have only ever been to Australia once. So, but I just find that surprising. Anyway, hail and kill.
All right, Tim.
I don't know why that's surprising.
I got to tell you, I don't know. I saw the email, but I think it came after we started the show. Have you heard Tim's new song?
I wasn't aware he had a new song.
All right. I got to give Tim mad props.
Really?
And we're not going to play it on the air here because I don't think we can yet. It's not mastered yet, but Tim sent it to me. I'll type it over here, who he's working with.
All right.
I was floored.
Okay.
That's who makes up his band.
Okay.
Of this song.
All right.
This song is fucking great.
Okay.
Well, I mean,
after we analyzed his Junk Punch record.
Yeah. After Nut Punch, it's definitely better than that.
Junk Punch.
Yeah, Junk Punch.
I think he learned his lesson that he's got to step up his game.
Well, he definitely did. And the song, which he wrote, is really fucking catchy.
Okay.
Like, he sent it to me through Messenger or something. No lie, I played it probably 15 times in a row. It's really catchy. It's not metal. It's definitely
it's a pop song.
It's a pop rock thing.
Yeah.
But, man, it's fucking... I couldn't believe it. Tim, because I'll pull the curtain back, and he's probably listening and he's going to hear this, but whatever. He sent it over to me, and I was like, all right, how do I tell him that it's not that bad? Before I even clicked play, I was like, how am I going to tell him that it's not that bad? Or that it's, I want to be nice about it because I like Tim. He's, I consider Tim a friend.
Sure.
And I don't want to say, dude, this is fucking junk. I don't want to say that to him. And I listened to it and I was like, well, fucking A, this is really good.
Well, again, what makes a difference, obviously, is competent players, good song structure, good, all these things. I mean, they talk about crafting a song.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it is a craft. You have to work it and, arrange it and work it out, make it better.
Well, when we do get the final copy of this thing, like the mastered copy, when he gets that back and he sends it, I want to play it back to back with anything off of Junk Punch because the difference is amazing. It's you literally can't tell that it's the same guy that wrote or performed on the song.
Right.
It's amazing how different it sounds.
Simply amazing.
It really, I hate to go all Mark and John on this, but
right, of course,
it really was an amazing transformation for him. He really grew in a year or two, and good on him. I will absolutely help him.
That's amazing.
Thank you, guys.
It was amazing. An amazing opportunity. When I say amazing, it's going to be amazing.
I love that title. I think it's amazing.
It's such an amazing song.
Lucy Lawless is amazing.
Just amazing dude.
Amazing. That's amazing. Amazing.
Which is an amazing magazine. I'm sure it sounds amazing. And we're going to get into a amazing interview. JD is an amazing bass player. You guys are amazing.
Amazing, man.
Crazy
amazing,
emotions.
man. Amazing players.
Well, add me to that list.
It's so funny. Went through that whole the podcast and just dug out all the amazing.
All the amazings.
Amazing. It's an amazing song. It's amazing.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's all amazing.
Really is. But I'm real happy for Tim. That's all I'll say. I wish we could play it tonight, but he asked me to wait until the mastered copy comes back because he's not real happy. Like, I listened to it, I was like, this is radio ready now. I mean, it sounds really good. But I guess, they need to put that last coat of polish on it.
Sure,
so,
of course.
So go ahead. But yeah, very happy for Tim. He's really stepped up his game, and I think he might actually be onto something.
Well, again, you have to develop. That's the whole difference between music of today and music of yesteryear. The labels realized that they needed A&R, artist development.
Sure.
And they had to, if they had a raw talent, they had to develop that artist, and make them work with people, whether it's producers or engineers or whatever. And it's just like, well, your raw product is pretty damn good.
Yeah.
But we're going to make it even better.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to tweak it. We're going to massage it. We're going to, engineer it. We're going to, do this and put it out there for radio play. And all of a sudden you got your biggest rock stars who, and again, we've talked about this a million times on the show, but it's amazing that there are still people from the 60s out there playing large venues, i.e. the Rolling Stones.
Yeah. Dude, all of those big, when you think about the biggest bands of all time, the members that are alive are still all playing huge venues.
Yeah.
The Stones are playing big places. Anytime the Who decides to put out anything, they go and play 20,000 to 50,000 seat venues. Paul McCartney plays stadiums.
Aerosmith is going to go on their Peace Out tour, man. Peace out.
That's 20,000 a hit. Ringo Starr plays 20,000 a hit.
Paul McCartney.
That's what I'm saying. All of those guys they're from what, 50s? 50s. Maybe 60, like the Stones were what, 62?
62.
62.
I think the Who was out in like 64.
Yeah. I mean, this is ancient.
I know. And they're still playing, stadiums and arenas.
Their career is senior citizen level. You think about that. That's fucking nuts.
They were a thing when I was just hatched.
Yeah. They were a thing before the carrot was grown that turned into the cum in my dad's balls. That's how old they are.
Yeah, and even though like a band like Chicago, which is, one of my favorite bands, even though there's only three original members left, they're still playing. They're playing the Allstate Arena.
Yeah. Wow. Just based on that fucking logo.
Yeah, basically Chicago. I mean, they don't sound anything like Chicago to me these days. I haven't seen them in years, but that was a yearly thing for me to go see them at least once, if not twice or three times a year.
Well, now your yearly thing is becoming Leonid and Friends.
Yeah. I'll go see Leonid and Friends before I go see what is known as Chicago these days. The band Chicago these days doesn't sound anything like Chicago.
Do they are they doing rearrangements too, or no?
No, they just got new people. They just got a whole cavalcade of people that I don't even recognize any of them. The only three guys that I know is Robert Lamb, Jimmy Pankow, and Lee Loughnane. That's it.
Do they stink? Is that why? I mean, are they not good?
They don't sound like Chicago.
But in a bad way? Like, I get it that they don't sound like Peter Cetera, for instance. They don't sound like
Peter Cetera. They don't sound like Terry Kath. They don't sound anything like the band.
So it's Blaze Bayley and Iron Maiden.
Kinda, yeah. It's just they play the songs, obviously, but it doesn't sound like
right.
It's Chicago karaoke.
Yes. I really want to tell you I'm sorry.
I mean, it's not that the people who they have in the band singing or performing sound bad. It's just they don't have the sound.
They didn't get the Arnel Pinettas.
No.
They just got guys that could sing.
They could play.
Yeah. Okay.
I looked at the lineup, and aside from those three guys, the originals, I'm just like, who the hell is that?
Now I have to see some of this. They're on tour this year?
Oh, they're always on tour, dude. They're always touring. They're one of their founding members, Walter Parazater. He's got Alzheimer's, so he's been out of the band for probably like 7 years now. And Jason Sheff, who you were supposed to interview a while back.
Yeah.
He was in the band for a long time, from 85 until 2020, I think. He left the band 5 years ago, maybe even before that.
Right.
But he was in the band for over 30 years. And Tristan Bowden, who took Danny Serafin's place, he's not in the band. Keith Howland, the guitarist, who sounded close to Terry Kath, he's been out of the band for 5 years.
Okay.
Most of the people who had, the band that, obviously Bill Champlin, who you interviewed and I interviewed, he's been out of the band.
You got fired.
Yeah, exactly. He's been out of the band for 15 years, so.
Well, the lineup today is Robert Lamb.
Yep, original.
Lee Loughnane.
Original.
James Pankow.
Original.
He's original.
Yep.
Walfredo Reyes Jr.
No idea.
Ray Herman.
He was the replacement for Walter Parazater on saxophone.
Okay. Neil Donnell or Donnell.
Donnell.
Is anything on him?
Some dude. Just some dude.
Ramon YSLAS. Yeastless?
No idea.
Tony Orborta?
Who knows?
Lauren Gold?
Nope.
and Eric Baines.
No idea.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know. I've never heard of any of these guys as guys. Who are these fucking guys?
They're just musicians.
Yeah, I'm looking like this Neil Donnell guy is a singer.
He doesn't play or anything. He's just a standalone vocalist. He doesn't play he doesn't play an instrument or nothing.
Yeah, but it doesn't say that. Well, he formerly was the lead singer of blah 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 or nothing. Ray Herman. Yeah, he's nobody either. I mean, he just replaced the other guy.
When Walter Parazater was having some heart issues, and for some reason he couldn't play when Walter was still involved with the band as far as touring is concerned. During the summer, if they really were having like some shows in hot climates, for some reason he couldn't take the heat. So this Herman guy would, step in and play the show. And then the indoor venues, Walter would play the shows.
Right. Okay.
But then after Walter retired due to his heart condition and his dementia diagnosis, then this Ray Herman was brought in full time.
Okay. Well, this one guy seems like he's a legit guy. This Walfredo Reyes Jr.
Okay, he's a percussionist, I think.
Yeah, he's
right?
a drummer. Yeah, he's a drummer. He at least has other credits. He was also in Santana and Traffic and did albums with Jimmy Barnes and Jackson Brown and Boss Skaggs and Gloria Estefan and Steve Winwood.
Guy.
Yeah, Lindsey Buckingham.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's done a bunch of shit. So at least that guy's like legit.
Okay.
And I guess the other guys are probably legit too, but they're just not. No, I mean, at least this guy's been in bands.
Right.
Like legitimate bands. He's not some other scrub that they found in a fucking drum clinic.
Sure.
All right, now I got to hear this. I got to hear what this sounds like. So
like I said, it's not that they sound bad or perform bad. It's just they just don't sound like Chicago.
Well, I picked one that I know is Peter Cetera.
All right.
Right? You're the inspiration. That is Peter Cetera, correct?
It is from 17.
Yeah. So this is a good indicator of what they sound like now, I would think, that you could compare directly to a song you know.
Right.
So let's check it out. This guy looks like an alien.
I know, it's just kind of bizarre.
He's got a weird look. He looks like Bruce Springsteen melted or something.
I agree.
He's got a weird look.
Yep.
He's got a weird sound to his voice too. Like it's not strong enough for this.
Yeah, that's what it's weak. It's a weak delivery. It's just like you're not a Johnny Gioeli.
No, he's definitely not that. But I mean, even like Cetera has, I mean, it's a soft voice, but it's a powerful voice.
It's a very distinct, powerful delivery.
Yeah, it's very, our love was meant to be like hard, like, and this guy's like, our love was meant to be like breathy or something.
It's thin.
Yeah, it is thin. All right, let's hear more of this. I'm genuinely curious. Yeah, this is karaoke.
That's what I'm saying. There's no soul or any feeling to any of this. It's just they're just performing the song.
Yeah, it's definitely karaoke. Now, let me see if I can find the same song from Leonid and Friends. Leonid.
I don't know if they sing anything this new. Leonid and Friend kind of concentrate on the older catalog, like the Terry Kath era.
Oh, here it is. I got it.
All right.
Let's switch over to that.
All right.
So we just heard it from the real Chicago.
The band that is known as Chicago.
Yeah. Now let's hear the fake Chicago do it.
All right. Here's the tribute to Chicago.
Here's the tribute to Chicago. Let's see who we'd rather see.
To be the kind of love to last forever, and I want you here with me from tonight until the end of time. You should know everywhere I go, always on my mind, in my heart, in my soul. Baby, you're the meaning in my life. You're the inspiration. You bring feeling to my life. You're the inspiration. Wanna have you near me? I wanna have you hear me say it. No one needs you more than
I'm gonna be honest, I think it's a tie. I don't think he does this song very well at all.
Well, I mean, nobody sounds like Peter Cetera. Isn't that the weirdest thing? You know,
Yeah.
all these bands, be it Journey or Foreigner, or people can find a replacement singer that sounds like their former singer.
Mm-hmm.
I have yet to find any, or have seen or heard anyone find somebody who sounds like Peter Cetera.
No, Cetera definitely has his own thing.
He does.
And that's what made him.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think this guy was, I think the band was better.
Oh, yeah, much better.
The band was definitely better, but I take him as kind of weak too. And what's with dude with the skullet? What's that about?
That's the funny damn thing.
When did fucking Devin Townsend join this band?
I was going to say the same thing. That's hysterical. But I'll tell you what, that girl singer that they have in this band, she is a piece of ass, man.
Yeah, I was going to say, she looks like Topanga.
Yeah, I've seen her up close. She is a really stunning looking girl.
I'm going to play a little more of this because I want to see that girl now. Let's see. Here we go.
And I know.
Oh, yeah.
She's a stunner. I took Taylor to go see Leonid and Friends, and we were like 2 rows back.
Right.
And I was that close. I was probably within 15 feet of her. She's as stunning in person as she is in the video.
Did you have to push your dick down?
Are you kidding me? I had Taylor next to me.
Doesn't mean another girl couldn't be hot.
That's true.
She's pretty hot, especially with the mouth open like that.
She's cute, but she's a good singer too. But there's another one I want you to look up real quick because they just did such a fantastic job of it. Is Searching So Long. Look up Leonid and Friends, Searching So Long.
All right, let me kick out
As far as mimicking the original recording, it's just unparalleled. Amazing. And when I say amazing, I mean amazing.
You mean amazing. Great song. Now, I haven't seen Leonid and Friends. Did they bring these 19 people with them?
Well, they got the majority of the state, like these three guys. Leonid is there, the keyboardist, the drummer.
Oh, is Leonid the skullet guy?
No, he's the gray-haired guy playing the bass.
Oh, okay. All right. But dude, how many of these? There's like 19 people in this room.
No,
how many?
They don't bring a whole orchestra with them, but there's probably at least 10 people on that stage.
Wow, man, that's got to be pricey as fuck.
Yeah, they're from Ukraine. They work for peanuts and ammo.
Probably have $1 million each from us. We
They
probably
love
gave
America, though.
I'll bet they do. Keep
love
fucking
America.
shoveling money the way we do.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. This is a great song, by the way. I love this.
they
This is
do
one of
it-
my favorite songs
And
of
they
theirs.
do a fantastic job doing this cover.
Let me check this out. I might have to go see these guys because they play at the fucking Roxino all
They
the time.
do. My sister goes to see them every time they come.
I wouldn't want to go there and get beat up by Officer Jim.
Yeah, well, that's another story.
Even I hooked him up. I guess that wasn't enough, but
I guess.
all right, whatever. All right, here we go.
As my life goes on, I believe somehow something's changed. Something deep inside, a part of me. There's a strange new light in my eyes. Things I've never known, changing my life, changing me. I've been searching so long to find an answer. Now I know my life has meaning. Oh,
Yeah, that's fucking really good.
That's real good, man.
All right, now let me find it from Chicago. Now I gotta see.
It's just a shell of what they used to be, man. I mean, I've seen Chicago 50 times
Right.
over the last several decades and met the guys on a few occasions. And, we obviously we had Robert Lamb on our morning show
We did.
for the Rockets.
Yeah, I mean,
And-
we have a Chicago history somehow, some way.
Yeah. And you interviewed Bill Champlin. I interviewed Bill Champlin,
Cost
and
him a
it's-
gig.
Yeah. So, one of my favorite bands ever. And I just won't go see them because it's just not the same.
Yeah, well, let's see. It might be. Let's hear what this sounds like. This is from a year ago.
Yeah.
That singer guy looks like he just got back from his job at the gas station and hit up the karaoke bar.
That's my point.
Yeah, I mean, and I hate to be that. I mean, looking at this picture now, I know it's the lighting and everything, but it looks like he's wearing a fucking mask. Look at him.
He looks like a slee stack.
What is that? Looks like he's going to give me some fucking classified information from Anonymous. What is that look that he's got going on?
Yeah.
This doesn't sound bad, but it doesn't sound...
it doesn't sound bad, but it just sounds like some other band just doing some
Yeah.
cover. It doesn't have any distinct sound or personality. That's what I'm trying to say. It's like I said, they perform the songs fine.
Yeah.
It just doesn't sound like Chicago.
No, they're missing too much. Too many elements are gone.
I agree. And that's kind of where I was going with that.
Yeah, it's like if you want to bake a lemon meringue pie, but you have no meringue.
Yeah.
It's not a lemon meringue pie anymore.
Or sugar. There's no
or sugar or a crust. There's not much left to this fucking pie.
No, it's thin and it's done.
Yeah. Who is this fucking trombone guy? Do you know?
That's Jimmy Pankow.
Well, geez, he seems energetic as fuck. He's swinging that shit around.
He's always been that way.
He's like, don't get up on my stage. You're going to catch yourself some fucking brass in your ass.
He's always been one of the more popular members,
Yeah, I just see him swinging that shit around.
Well, that was one thing, I've seen him in interviews and I've actually chatted with him on a few occasions. And he said, the trombone as an instrument is not cool. And he said, my goal as a younger person when, I was learning trombone is how do I make the trombone look like a cool instrument? And one of them is the showmanship with it, just kinda, for lack of a better term, dancing with it or kind of moving around with it and stuff. And it's like, wow, it's kind of cool to play the trombone.
Yeah.
But it's kind of a nerdy instrument,
Yeah, it is.
Everybody wants to play the sax, or it's kind of cool to play the trumpet like a blues player. But how do you play the trombone and be cool without looking like you're in a marching band or something?
Exactly. I mean, the trombone is one step above a tuba, for God's sakes.
So
or a fucking French horn.
Yeah. So that was the whole thing. It's just like, how do I make the trombone look like a cool instrument to play?
Yeah. You know what's missing with this band, this version of Chicago? And I've only seen them once, so correct me if I'm wrong, because the only time I saw them was 85, maybe. Okay, Stay the Night.
During the 17 tour.
Yeah, Stay the Night tour, whatever that would have been.
Yeah.
And
did you see him at the Richfield Coliseum?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
See, that was long before I knew you, and I was at that show.
No, we were at the same place. Might have been sitting next to each other for all we know.
We could have not known each other, but we were there.
Yeah, exactly. What I see here, they had a look. Like they looked like a band.
Yeah. They were
These
cohesive.
fucking guys do not look like a band.
They look like a bunch of guys who like to jam on the weekend.
Yeah. It looks like Huey Lewis's saxophone players sat in with some fucking mechanics. That's what this looks like. It's like, who are these guys?
Yeah.
It would be better if they all wore Chicago t-shirts, for God's sakes.
I agree. I remember during that 17 tour, if you were on that, since you went to that show, you might remember this. But I remember reading the review in the Akron Beacon Journal of the show.
Okay.
And one of the things that they were doing, because it was the 80s, it was the mid 80s, just kind of sprucing up their look. Because if you remember, Chicago started in 68. Okay. So by 85, they'd been around almost 20 years.
Right.
So they were pushing 40. So they were trying to kind of have that youthful, upbeat look. So all of them were dressed in white.
Right.
And I remember reading the review. In fact, I may even have the clipping. They said they all came out on stage looking like the men from Glad. Remember the men from Glad?
Men from Glad.
Remember Glad trash bags? It was the garbage men dressed in white with the white cap on and the white the men from Glad invaded the stage at Richfield Coliseum. I'll never forget that. Whoever wrote that review just made me laugh.
Right. That's funny. Dude, I'll tell you, you know what I remember most about Peter Cetera? Those fucking white goddamn chompers of his.
Well, you know what? If you look at Peter Cetera from the 70s,
yeah,
he was kind of thick, kind of thick and a little bit puffy in the face and stuff. Yeah. But when the 80s hit, and he, just prior to the release of Chicago 16, he got like really fit.
Right.
He lost weight and he got really fit and thin and cut the hair and had the short do, and he was wearing the Olivia Newton-John physical little thin
headband, the headband, yeah,
the little headband, and he was just like really, really fit and thin, and that's when he was on his ascent to becoming, the focal point of the band, because prior to MTV music videos, there was no quote unquote lead singer.
Right.
Harry Cath was the singer. Robert Lamb was the singer. Peter Cetera was the singer. They all shared singing duties pretty equally.
Right.
And then when MTV came out and he got himself fit and in shape and this and that, the MTV videos were squarely focused on Peter Cetera as being the quote unquote the lead singer of Chicago.
Right.
Yeah, that's an older picture, but
look at those teeth though.
Yeah.
You can see those teeth from the fucking XM satellite.
It kind of reminds me of the Wolf of Wall Street. I was so taken aback by his white teeth.
Yeah, I mean, his teeth are as white as that shirt.
His teeth are whiter than white.
They're glowing.
Jonah Hill and Wolf of Wall Street had those extremely white teeth.
Well, look at him.
I know.
He's not wrong.
Yeah. But, he re-engineered his whole look to be the front man.
Yeah.
And that's what, what led to his departure from the band, is because he decided, well, I'm the lead singer and I should, whatever. And this is when Phil Collins was, he had Face Value and Hello, I Must Be Going and No Jacket Required and the whole thing. And Genesis was still a very active band.
Sure.
And Phil Collins was making a name for himself as a solo artist.
Right. Mm-hmm. And Easy Lover and all that shit.
Exactly. Too. And so it was like, well, this is Genesis featuring Phil Collins.
Right, right.
And that's the deal that Cetera wanted for himself with Chicago. They wanted Chicago featuring Peter Cetera. And
that's never worked ever.
And the rest of the band was like, fuck that. We built this band together. You're not any more important than the rest of us.
Yeah.
We all contributed.
But they all, dude, for some reason, singers always do that to bit. Remember the Temptations? Remember the whole thing about David Ruffin?
Yep.
It was like, I'm David Ruffin, and these are the Temptations. Like, he came out and said that instead of we're the Temptations.
I know, and that's what broke things up,
Yeah.
He wanted to go out and do solo material and solo tour, and Chicago was like, well, we're still a touring entity, and we have obligations and gigs and dates, and we can't take the time off to let you go work on your solo record.
Yeah, so beat it, you fuck.
And he was just like, well, fine.
Yeah, he's like,
I'm out of here.
And they suffered for what, one record, and then they came back?
Because when they put out 17, which was their biggest selling album, and then they came out with 18 featuring Jason Scheff, and they came out with that hit song, Will You Still Love Me?
Oh, that's right. Will you still love me for
and
the rest of my life?
Didn't miss a beat.
Because I can't go on.
Exactly.
Yeah, that is a good one.
Yep.
I forgot about that song. That's a good one.
So that came out on 18.
I know one I didn't like. This one. I hate this song. You like this song?
Stay the Night?
Yes.
Yeah, that well, again, this was the influence of their producer David Foster, because he was moving them into what was happening, and they were losing more of the old school 70s
Right.
driven sound. They were looking for more of the pop angle and making Peter Cetera the focal point of the band. So if you see Peter Cetera is prominently featured in this video.
Oh yeah, no, hardly anybody else is.
Yeah, and this girl, that was actually his wife at the time,
I
Diane.
thought it was Peg Bundy.
No, that's Diane Neely. She was a model.
Okay. All right, let's watch some of this, even though
All
I
right.
hate it. I'm willing to torture myself with
But
it.
again, they had the cool cars going on, and but again, this was a way to feature Peter Cetera as like the main focal point of the band.
Right. All right, let's check it out. Here we go. In the garage.
Exactly.
It's just him who
Yep.
who would know this is a band.
But he and David Foster forged a partnership there in their music and so on and so forth, and it was successful for the band. I mean, I think Chicago 17 sold like 15 million.
Oh yeah, it sold a shit ton. I'm not saying they were wrong. I'm just saying personally, I did not like this song.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like others on this album. I just don't like this song at all. But hit him. The one right behind him, I wish we would just run him over. Boom.
That's Walter Parazater and Jimmy Pankow in that truck there.
Well, if they were smart, they would have run his ass right over. Stay the...
Who knew Peter Cetera was such a stunt man?
Yeah, I know. He's great.
Well, he could just jump on that car and watch the truck go by. He'll grab onto the bed and jump up in the bed.
The guy was athletic. Who knew?
I mean, he got himself in shape, and not only that, but he did amazing stunts.
He did. Well, he is wearing a helmet, isn't he? Looks like it. All right, here we go. Huh?
That's Bill Champlin
Is it?
right there.
Might be his real job now.
But I was mistaken. That's Walter Parazater and Robert Lamb driving that truck.
Like anybody would know except you.
Except the fact that we both interviewed all these guys.
Yeah, well, I still couldn't pick him out. I ain't gonna lie. I interviewed who did I interview recently?
Bill
Champlin.
Yeah, him.
And if you put a picture in front of me, I wouldn't be able to pick him out.
Yeah.
And I interviewed him 2 years ago?
Not even that long ago, was it?
A year ago? Something like that. I don't know.
Within the last year.
Yeah, something like that. And I couldn't pick him out today. And it was a video interview, for God's sakes. All right, here we go. Oh, we're huge. It really makes me wonder what a bunch of faggots we all were. That we sat around watching this shit going, oh, that's fucking great. Play it again, MTV.
It was new. It was a new medium, and we were just like, holy shit, this is cool. We're getting to see our favorite bands doing cool shit on video. That never happened before.
Dude, I would turn this off if it was fucking Chips. I mean, this is a bad video.
Yeah,
but I remember them playing the fuck out of this video.
But this is 40 years old.
Yeah, I know. We're old. I get it.
I know, but it was so new. MTV was so new, and being able to actually see our favorite bands, the actual members of our bands, was just like, holy shit, look at this.
That is true. And that is the big thing, was seeing the guys in the bands was new.
Well, as far as controversial to say Styx was better than Chicago, they're not the same.
No.
I can't, because they're not similar in music style at all. So I can't say one is better than the other. Now, if you wanted to say, is Blood, Sweat, and Tears better than Chicago? That would be more of a equal comparison.
Yeah. I would say Chicago and Styx, I wouldn't want to give either up out of my collection. I listen to both a lot. I'm trying to think of... And they both died at about the same time, too, really. When did Chicago stop being good?
The end of the 90s.
Oh, so then they did last. Then they lasted longer than Styx.
No, I'd take that back. Their last album that didn't do very well was 91, 21, Chicago 21.
And what year is that?
91.
Okay.
So
yeah, so and that still was like 9 years longer than Styx.
Yeah, so
Styx was dead after Mr. Roboto.
Because I think the last quote unquote charting song that Chicago had was Chasing the Wind.
Okay.
That was Bill Champlin vocal on that one. There's no use thinking you cared about me. No way that I'm gonna win. 'Cause darn, I might as well be chasing the wind.
As close as you are to a Leonid and Friends version of that song, I'd probably need to hear it myself from, from the band.
Not a singer. That's the last song that from that era that actually charted.
Right. Well, yeah, I think Styx has a lot of great songs. I know you don't like Styx at all, do you?
I like Styx. I like some of their stuff, but I don't have it.
You don't like the Dennis DeYoung stuff at all, though.
No, I'm not into that operatic vocal.
Little foofy shit.
Yeah.
I like some of it, like Best of Times and stuff. I like that, but Styx, you know, I'm a bad one to talk about either of these bands because I really don't know anything but their hits.
Right.
Other than, like, with Styx, I did have, and man, I played the living shit out of it. That Paradise City album, Paradise Theater album.
Yeah, Paradise Theater.
I played that Rockin' the Paradise tonight.
That was kind of like their signature album right there.
That's a good one. But they had a lot of really good, you know, Pieces of Eight and, you know, Grand Illusion and stuff. They had a lot of good songs. But album wise, they were a little too weird because of Dennis DeYoung. Some of Dennis's weirdness was always like kind of brought their albums down. Chicago, I'll be honest, I don't know. I have the greatest hits, and that's about all I need. I've tried other albums, and I've never liked the albums, but I've always liked the hits. So I don't know that I'm a good one to talk to answer the Styx versus Chicago, the big controversy in the chat.
Well, my favorite Chicago that I currently listen to quite often is when they released that box set of Chicago Live at Carnegie Hall, where they released all 8 shows from that week run. And the reason I like that so much is because they're still fairly raw at that point, and they're not so slick. And you can hear the stage interaction between the guys kind of talking to each other and stuff. The mics pick it up.
Right.
And it's just a very, it's before they became like so commercial, but not so new to where they're what's the word I'm looking for? Not proficient.
Okay.
They're just in that in-between stage to where they're really just on the cusp of going huge to, but after they've kind of gelled.
Right.
You know, so for me to listen to that is just really good. And plus it's more or less 8 live shows back to back, and they experiment a little bit and change up the set list on each day, and play, you know, sometimes they do play a lot of the same songs, but then they add something in that they didn't play the day before, or,
right.
No, and that to me that's interesting. And that, man, it's old. 1971. 1971.
I know it's crazy, but
over 50 years old.
We're old, man. I hate to tell you.
Yeah. So it's just fun for me to listen to, but I like the old stuff, you know.
Hell yeah.
Pre 80s Chicago, even though I do listen to the 80s stuff. I always revert back to the.
Yeah, I like the 70s stuff way more, you know, Color My World and, you know, 25 or 6 to 4.
Exactly.
You know, all of those songs are fucking great. You know, Wishing You Were Here. You know, all of those are make me smile.
Sure.
Great songs. You know, beginnings. You know, they have a ton of great songs.
They do.
To me, almost all their great songs were in the 70s.
I agree.
They have only a few that were, and even the few that are great were early 80s to me. Like, really want to tell you I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I just want you to say. Yeah, but that's what, 81? 82?
82.
Yeah. I mean, it's very early in the 80s. After that is when David Foster got his fucking greedy dick mitts into it and fucking
16
ruined them.
16 was the first album that Foster got involved. And the majority of the Chicago 16 album was played by Toto.
I believe that. Yeah, I believe that. Yeah, I like that. What is that song? That one that's and in the air.
Oh,
Hold on.
That's hard to say. I'm sorry, but
Yeah,
it's called Getaway. It's the little ending piece.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. And it's always a concert favorite. Everybody gets on their feet and they're kind of jumping up and down and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's called Getaway.
Okay, I like that. That's probably my favorite thing that they've done.
But yeah, so Robert Lamb, during the recording of Chicago 16, even though they had a lot of hits and things on that, you know, and it was kind of brought them back because they were basically on death's door at that point.
Right.
And they signed with Full Moon Records, which was an imprint of Warner. But basically after, you know, more than a decade, they were kicked off of Columbia because they were just like a relic.
Right.
There. And so when they got re-energized with David Foster stepping in and signing a new deal with Warner Brothers and coming out with Chicago 16 with the help of David Foster. That's what kickstart their second what do you want to call
wave?
Their second life.
Yeah.
You know, and they did very well in the 80s.
They did.
They did Chicago 16, 17, 18, 19 were all big albums for them in the 80s.
Yeah, I was done with that at that point though.
Yep. But
16 was really it for me. I like 17 was okay. You're the Inspiration is a cool tune. But after that it was way too polished for me.
Yeah. Well, again, they became a pop band. The rock element was definitely gone.
Yeah. By then I had all the edge from Billy Squier and Prince.
Again, this is the influence of MTV. I mean, MTV basically influenced these bands to change their look and their sound and everything to appeal to the mass audience.
Right.
And that's exactly what they did.
Yep, I agree.
So not the same band it used to be, but boy, I'm glad I got to enjoy them, you know, in the earlier days and into the 80s. And I haven't gone to see them in a decade or more.
Which is crazy.
It's not the same anymore.
I hear you. All right, let's get the fuck out of here.
No way, man. I want to do at least 3 more hours.
Go ahead. Go right ahead.
Well, it was a fun discussion. This last hour was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was good.
You know, just kind of kicking around some, thoughts on this kind of stuff. But it's very cool.
Absolutely.
But anyway, glad you're back. Glad your last weekend worked out well, and glad to be back in the saddle myself.
Yeah.
And doing the show, and appreciate everybody who's tuned in as always and supports this show, and they're members of our locals page, and sign up if you're not signed up.
Yeah, if you're not signed up, what the fuck? Why not?
Exactly.
Get to it, you fucks.
All right. Well, we're going to get out of here. I got a request here from Milo.
Okay.
He wants to hear Lynch Mob Hell Child. So I'm going to leave you with some Lynch Mob to take us out. So appreciate everybody who's tuned in. Thanks for subscribing and listening to our nonsense. And we will be back next Saturday night. So this is Neeley along with my very good friend,
Chris Egan.
We're gone.
See you, kids.
Seth and Chris don't say it enough, but the best place for everything associated with The Seth Williams Show is their website, www.thesethwilliamsshow.com. You can watch all live episodes of the show live right there on the site. You can get past shows in both audio and video on demand formats. You can join our exclusive VIP programs on Minds and Super Chat right from the page. You can also purchase all the Best Seth Show merchandise on the page as well. Bookmark it today, www.thesethwilliamsshow.com.